There is perhaps no more convincing witness to the UFO than the world-famous Israeli psychic Uri Geller, whose mind-boggling extrasensory powers have baffled millions of people all over the world. Geller believes that his powers are not unique to him, but are instead proof that energies exist in many different ways than those now known to science. Later, we will see Geller demonstrate his bioenergy powers before a live audience. Geller leaves little doubt about his feelings on the subject of UFOs.
Let me tell you, I've never seen an extraterrestrial being in my life. I wish I will, and I know I will one day. You know, maybe they're even around us and we don't even know. Maybe they look like people. But I have seen UFOs. But other people, I'm sure if I'll ask who saw a UFO here, some of you will raise your hands up because they exist. I shot pictures. As a matter of fact, I had a fight with my publisher because I wanted to publish the picture of the UFOs that I took in the book, and he said no because it cannot be. It will be against your credibility. And I did it in the end because I'm not going to back away from the truth. I once seen. 1 minute. I once drove in the Sinai Desert. Do we have another minute?
Yeah, go ahead.
I once drove in the Sinai Desert. And believe me, with a high colonel and his driver, me and a doctor. And suddenly, in midair, in Sinai Desert, it's clear, it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon, we saw this huge object that looked like a cigar shape hanging in midair. And let me tell you, it was as big as 3 New York blocks. And it was dark. It didn't look like a flying saucer. It looked like a cigar shape. And I was shocked. And immediately, I get goosebumps when I talk about it. I told the driver, please, look what, and the colonel, and you know what? They didn't see it. And they said, what are you looking at? I said, my God, can't you see that thing in the sky? They couldn't see it. So I think sometimes, what is really going on? Is it really implanted in my mind? Is it really not out there and only, or is it there and only the people who believe in it can see it? I don't know. There are questions that I can't answer myself.
Some call him a magician. Others call him a sorcerer. Some even call him a messiah. But whatever they call him, the world has never seen anyone quite like Uri Geller. So when Geller recently toured the United States, it was no wonder the crowds turned out to greet him, to witness his powers, and to line up for autographs on the cover of his new book. They stood in line because they had just witnessed an extraordinary sight. Hundreds brought with them broken watches and clocks, many of which hadn't run for years. Then they sat back and watched the bioenergy of Uri Geller go to work.
You can see that the second hand. Can the camera show the second hand?
That'd be a tough shot, I think.
I don't know how to show it, that it's not working, but tell me if you... Well, whatever,
Watches
it's not
that he is working with. We've got a whole huge handful. How many there? Maybe 10.
I don't know. Let's go. This is what I want you all to do now, and I know it looks silly. I'm going to shout 1, 2, 3, and all of us are going to shout work. I mean, we're really loud and really talk to these watches because that's the way it works. 1, 2, 3, work! Listen, a little louder. It's your watches, you know.
We may have blown out the transmitter, I think.
One more time. 1, 2, 3, work! Hold this for me for a second.
Okay.
Now what I do is I sort of finally put an energy into it, and I say work, and I just talk to these watches.
His left hand over
I'm sure most of them will.
And just clenching his fist. He's clenching his fist over and over just above the watches.
No, it's working. This is working.
It is. Okay, here is a watch that's working.
Another one is working.
Hand them to me and I'll try and identify the watch. It's a very ornate
This is also working.
jewelry bracelet watch. It's
working.
The second hand is sweeping along on this.
It's working. It's working.
Here's another one.
Working.
This is a Timex. Here's a Photo watch.
Goodbye. Now wait a minute.
Then, while hundreds watched and thousands more listened on radio station KVI, the city of Seattle witnessed the power of biological energy in an even more convincing form.
This is what I want you to do. I'm holding these keys in my hand very, very gently. And what I want you to do, Ken, is put your hands on these keys, cover them, and cover these ones. No, not very, very gently like that, and the other one. Now, this is what I do.
That's helping Uri. His hands covering the keys that are in the palms of Uri's hands.
And by the way, these keys are not mine. and I'm concentrating now, and I want something to happen. If you feel anything in any hand, tell me. If you feel any tingling sensation or heat or... Where do you feel this?
The keys are in Uri's hands. The little boy is holding his hands over the keys, but...
All right, now start concentrating, Ken. What you will have to do is you have to say, Ben, I hope you have enough feeling there, because I don't know how long this will take.
Uri's hands are flat. His thumbs are up in the air where everybody can see them.
I think something is happening here.
And he thinks something is happening. He has now discarded the keys in his left hand. The boy still is covering the keys in Uri's right hand. Uri, incidentally, is left-handed.
Okay,
now lift your hand. Ken, lift your hand. Do you see any keys bending?
I see one. Oh, yes, this is bending.
One key is
Wait a
bending.
minute, I have to show this to the TV. Yeah, this key is going. Yeah, wait a minute.
Yes, definitely. It's a big, thick brass schlag or schlager type of key.
I don't know what this
just
key
like
is
the one he
for.
bent last night
You
for us.
see what I'm doing is I'm stroking it very, very gently, and yeah, it's curling up more. I don't know
You see
how
that,
well
Ken?
you can see it.
It's really happening,
It's bending even more.
Yeah, this will curl up a little more here. You see, I'm putting an energy into it. Can you see this from the...
It's incredible.
There's absolutely no heat. Ken, touch the key, and you'll see that touch it under where it's bending. Do you feel any heat? There's absolutely no... You do feel it. But there's really no heat. It's, you touch it. I mean, you can see there's really heat or not.
No, it's just the body warmth.
Body warmth,
but it's
feeling.
continuing to bend.
Just want to show it to the camera.
Can you see that?
Oh, look, another key.
There goes another one.
The key that he has bent is fastened to a key cluster,
I think
another key is
here.
beginning to bend on the cluster fastened
Yeah,
below
this
it.
is going also now. But let me just show it to everybody because the TV camera is so...
To back up the biological energy demonstration, Geller called on others in the audience to check for keys which may also have responded to the presence of Geller's energy. The Seattle Post-Intelligencer told the story of hundreds of radio listeners whose keys mysteriously began bending right in their pockets. In the audience, there were others who found themselves a terminal for the newly demonstrated source of power.
Keys in the audience belonging to people here were bending. And we've seen keys, a couple of women have shown him, which are beginning to bend. Here's a lady who is gray-haired, and she's just handed him a key.
That is bent.
And it is beginning to bend, very slightly, but noticeably.
It's unreal because you know what's unbelievable here? That usually the kids are coming to me that their keys bend, and usually it happens to children.
Why?
Because children are more open-minded to this. I mean, look, look at these keys, they're totally bent.
Would you say that it's necessary for a person to believe they can bend before they will bend?
You see, a child believes that he can bend a key because he's totally innocent to it. He totally believes that his key can bend, and it does. And it starts, and look, I mean, these keys are, I mean, you can't use these keys anymore.